All right, available now. We have the order of operations guide. I've got a link here at payhib.com. It's only $2. It's a 9 to 10 page guide, and the order of operations covers history, covers the acronyms, calculator ideas, how to use your calculator, efficiency tips, and even has some worked examples. So it's a good $10 to spend if you're unsure on how this works. Give it a try. Hello there. I want to cover a mixed operations problem, and this one uses a factorial, which a lot of people may or may not have dealt with factorials. It comes up a lot in probability and statistics, but the problem here is 4 plus 4 times 4 times 0, and then you have the exclamation mark on the end, which is actually a factorial. All right, we're going to talk about that, all right? 4 plus 4 times 4 times 0 factorial. And if you want to, you can pause the video here, think about it for a minute, and we will come back and work it out together. All right, so first of all, hopefully you do remember your order of operations. I know we have the little complexity of the factorial involved, but we are going to talk about that real briefly here. All right, so if you're familiar with your order of operations, you know that you first will look for parentheses. If you're familiar with acronyms used in other countries like BODMAS or BIDMAS. Look for brackets. It's either brackets or parentheses that you're looking for. Well, we don't have any here in this problem, but it doesn't mean we stop there. We go on. We look for exponents, or if you're familiar with BODMAS, they could be referred to as orders. We don't have any exponents here, but wait a second. We do have the factorial that I talked about. Um, The second step in the order of operations, it's either listed as exponents, it's listed as orders, and some acronyms you may have learned, BIDMAS, that's indices. Factorials still are included in this second step. Basically, the second step is anything that is shorthand for repeated multiplication, and basically that's what a factorial is. We'll talk about it a little bit as we go, but we do have factorials here. And then step number 3 is our multiplication and division left to right. All right, so in this case, we don't have any division, but we do have multiplication. We have the 4 times 4, and then we have 4 times, then we have the multiplication by 0 factorial. Addition and subtraction, we do have that. So we've got this pretty well set up. We have factorials, we have multiplication, we have addition, and we have subtraction. All right, and you might have remembered the order of operations. You may or may not have been taught one of the acronyms. They're not really that important. These are just memorization tools, and a lot of times I think they confuse people a lot more than they really help. You have PEMDAS, BODMAS, BEDMAS, and BIDMAS, but they all give you the same answer regardless. A lot of people don't think so. They think they're 6-step checklists, but they're not. Important thing to note, 0 factorial. We're going to talk a little bit about the definition. I'm not going to go deep into factorials in this video. That's a topic for its own video, but 0 factorial is equal to 1. All right, I know that may be confusing a lot of people. A lot of people thought the answer to this whole problem was either 4, or some people think the answer to this problem was 0, because they just saw the 0 on the end. 4 plus 4 times 1 is definitely not equal to 0, does not give you the final answer of 1. Now, a note, 0 factorial is equal to 1. A factorial is the product of all the integers equal to or less than the original number. For example, if you have a factorial 4 factorial, that is equal to 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which equals 24. All right, so equal to 24. Now, when you have 0 factorial, well, there's no positive whole numbers that are less than 0. 0 is a number in itself. So really, when you think about it, there's really just one combination or one data set of arranging 0 factorial. So it's given the definition of 1. 0 factorial is 1. 1 factorial is also equal to 1, since there's really only one possible way to arrange this data set. You've got, if you have something like 2 factorial is just 2 times 1, which actually equals 2. Um, so again, if you have 0 factorial is equal to 1. And then we move down to the multiplication. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 plus 16 times 1 is equal to 20. And why is that? Because when we get down to this point, you multiply the 16 times 1 before you add the 4. Multiplication has precedence over addition. All right, there's a lot of sad arguments out there, and I run into these all the time. A lot of people say things like, well, gee, there's no parentheses out there, so around any of the multiplications, so you just solve left to right. Well, multiplication already has precedence over addition. Factorials also have precedence over multiplication and division. Factorials are literally shorthand for repeated multiplication. All right, multiplication. It's really multiplication is repeated addition. That's really all that it is. You can look up the definition of what it is. Multiplication is literally repeated addition. So parentheses around multiplication are not required. Now, there's still a lot of sad arguments out there. People say things like, well, gee, if we were supposed to multiply first, the multiplication would have been written first. Well, it really doesn't matter. You could write this out, 4 times 4 times 0 factorial, and then add the 4 on the end. The answer is still 20. It doesn't matter. The way that it was originally arranged, the answer is still 20 because the factorials have precedence over multiplication. The multiplication still has precedence over addition, regardless of what order it's written in. So the answer is still 20. Now, they also have the other sad argument out there, too. Some people who did not think the answer was 4, a lot of people just, what they see as a times 0. All right, so the answer to this never was 0. Like I said before, a lot of people see a multiplication by 0, and they don't care if there's addition, subtraction, whatever in front of it. They just see the multiplication by 0 and think the answer is 0. Again, that was not true at all. And then you have people who don't understand the factorial, and I understand that one a little bit more. If you didn't do a lot of work with probability or statistics, combinations, you may have forgotten that part of it. But that's been around 1808 was when Christian Cramp, was a French mathematician, came up with, I believe, the symbol, the exclamation mark. Although factorials, go back a lot further than that, but that was really when that symbol began to be used. So this is not new mathematics in any way. Factorials, again, were used before that. Um, Also, keep in mind, we've talked about this before in other videos, but um, 4 times 4 is the same thing as adding 4 times. So you could replace the 4 times 4 with 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. You still got to know that the factorial, 0 factorial is 1, but 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 times 1 is 20. All right, so there's no 0, there's no 4, there's none of that. So I'm hoping that was helpful. I'm going to show you on a calculator as well how you can work this out using the calculator app on your computer. All right, so we're going to use a scientific calculator here to enter this. I have the N with the exclamation mark. So we're going to go ahead and enter 4 plus 4 times 4, then times 0. Now I'm going to hit the factorial key and press enter. And you see I get 20. 4 plus 4 times 4 times the factorial of 0, or 0 factorial, will give you the answer of 20.